running backs. We're going to be talking about fantasy football.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Best time of the
Did you
year.
do that?
We did that last time. We did this song. Listen, it's fantasy football.
It's fantasy football season.
Do you know what that means? It's not fantasy football season.
Well, it should be.
It's about time for fantasy football season. Do you know what that means? It's like Christmas for all these.
It's like Christmas Eve.
For all of us people that love fantasy football and just like are so excited for it. So we're here today to help you out. Well, not really to help you out, but maybe helps you out. Maybe we open up your eyes to some
if you
players.
freaking listen.
Hopefully you listen and retain some of this
Okay,
stuff.
first of all, you need to go and watch the draft strategy video. Because that's going to lay the groundwork for all the greatness we're about to spew right now.
Yep.
Okay?
Facts.
Now, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Number one, I think we agree on this one.
Yep.
It's not because of any particular team we like.
I wasn't going to go there. I
What?
was just going to say it.
But just straight up.
Zeke.
Saquon. Oh. No, we're going. No, I'm just kidding. It's definitely Zeke.
Well,
A lot of
say
people.
it's definitely Zeke.
A lot of people think it's
He's
Saquon.
just my preferred
For me, he's my preferred
option.
option. Yeah, I don't know. I just copied you.
I know. Zeke, I would say he has no risk, but he actually might hold out. Even no, I'm not. I don't think he's gonna miss games. There's a little bit of a risk.
I don't think that would be a big problem compared to like LeVeon Bell's situation
Yeah.
for the last couple of years.
And to be honest, anywhere in these top four, I wouldn't be like surprised if you put them like first overall.
Yeah, I think when you get up to the top running backs, you can pretty much throw a dart, and whatever it lands on, it's whatever.
So
No, you can go.
for Zeke, he just gets yards, and his touchdowns were down last year, even though he was like a top 5 running back still. So I think, plain and simple, if he just scores more touchdowns and has even the same yards, boom, top 3 running back.
And for Zeke's case, I'm hopeful. They changed out their new offensive coordinator from Scott Linehan to Kellen Moore. And I think a huge reason he didn't get as many touchdowns as he did is that he just simply didn't get the touches within the 5-yard line.
The red zone play calling in Dallas last year was
horrible.
bad.
And hopefully that changes. I know a lot of times they give it to Dak, and Dak would try to throw it, and it just wouldn't work out. They just wouldn't let Zeke run it and pound it in.
Yeah. I think Frederick is a huge piece because if they can dominate and start to take over games like they did his rookie and his sophomore year, then they'll be way more liable for him to just rack up yards like he did his rookie year.
Yeah. And another great part for Zeke is that over the last, I would say, 2 years, for sure last year, he's more into the pass catching side of the...
Mm-hmm. He averaged like 40 yards per receiving last year.
Yeah, and that's just going to add to his value because pass catching backs are the best kind of backs.
Yeah, and he was always a 3-down back, but now he's
like a 6-down back, if we're being honest.
Yeah. But he's one of the leaders in all-purpose yards now, opposed to just rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he's not knocking anybody out in the streets or wanting money.
Yeah, he should be good.
Yeah.
Not big in injuries.
Now, little secret here: I have the first overall pick in one of our leagues, so I'm gonna have to be making a decision pretty soon.
I think you just made your decision. This is your rankings.
I'm not spoiling. I'm not gonna.
This dude.
I'm not showing my hand.
This dude. Who cares what your hand is? You have the first overall pick.
I know, but
I'm
not gonna make it easy on you guys.
Dude.
Okay.
This dude. All right. Number 2. Let's jump right into it.
Number 2.
Change of gears a little bit. Number 2. Okay, I'm gonna go first because I'm better, and I didn't go 2-8 last year, unlike that guy.
Cool. Yep.
My number 2 is kind of a surprise to most people. Probably it's Christian McCaffrey. It's not like huge or anything. Most people have Saquon at number 1 or 2, and I have Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey had a really good year last year, especially from his rookie year. He catches a ton of balls. He's like, I would say he's probably like the number 2 option as a receiver, and then number 1 as a running back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I think overall the Panthers are going to be better than last year, and I think Christian McCaffrey will be the number one. He'll be affected the most by it.
See, I'm going to go with Saquon. Now, Saquon, he's kind of different than most of these, all the running backs in the top 5, where his team sucks. Okay, there's no sugarcoating it. The Giants, they're bad.
Would you say? Wait, you said all their teams suck?
No, he's the only one out of these 5 I have here whose teams are just bad. Now, from most running backs' perspective, you don't like that on your fantasy team if their team is just that bad. But Saquon is I don't know if it matters because last year it was almost the same thing, minus Odell, but they're not going to be good.
Yeah.
And they weren't good last year. So if Saquon can just... I wouldn't bet on him doing the same crazy things he did last year, whereas he was just scoring like 60, 80-yard touchdowns. But the yards and the amount of opportunities he's going to get could be the same. So I think his outcome could be the same, which is really, really good.
It's funny you say that because Saquon's my number... Saquon's my number 3. I think their team's going to be really bad, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think. Because they still have some good wide receivers, and Eli Manning is incompetent.
At the least.
At the least. Or at the most. Honestly, at the most, he's incompetent. But he still has an arm, and he can throw it in the general vicinity of Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, and our boy, Saquon Barkley.
And if you're playing PPR, you got to love Saquon because sometimes, even if he catches 11 balls and it only goes for 14 yards, that's 11 points for you right there.
If Saquon can he's the most dangerous player in the open field, in the NFL, I think. He's almost unstoppable.
He might, yeah. It's almost hard for him to ever live up to his potential because he's such a gifted athlete.
Yeah. And I think Saquon is in kind of in the position where, yeah, his team's not going to be the worst, but they are also going to be the worst, and he might get the most amount of touch. I think he'll get the most amount of touches out of any running back.
My number 3 is Alvin Kamara. To be honest with you, I could see Kamara at number 1 just because he's never not been a complete beast.
Yeah.
From the second he stepped on the field as a rookie, kind of was the same thing with Zeke, just in a different way. He's been putting up insane numbers. Mm-hmm. Now, the only question is whether he's going to be able to repeat that. But I think this year he's going to lose. Mark Ingram's not on the team anymore.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of like clear cut at first, but then you kind of think about it. Do you think Mark Ingram leaving is going to help or hurt him?
I think it's going to help him from a fantasy perspective because he's going to get more touches.
Exactly, that's what I think. Some people could make the argument that Mark Ingram...
But I don't think it's going to be a situation where he gets all the touches that Ingram had because they still have other running backs. But I think he's just going to get, a couple more that might,
Yeah. And I think with Kamara, one of the best things for him is that, like you said, he gets a lot of touches, but also the way the Saints are able to spread the field out, it gives him a lot of open space to make moves and make people miss.
Yeah. You're talking about Saquon as the best player in the open field.
I retract that. I would say Saquon's top 3 with Alvin Kamara. I don't know. It could be like a coin toss for who's number 1.
Okay. What?
You trying to roast me?
No.
In my own house? Under my roof? All right. My number 4 is Alvin Kamara. We kind of just covered him, so I don't think I need to say too much.
Yeah, my number 4 is McCaffrey. Same thing.
Kind of covered him.
Beast. That's all you got to know.
My number 4 is Melvin Gordon, the Chargers.
You're running 4 or 5?
5.
What I say?
Yeah.
It's Melvin also.
The biggest part, I think everyone knows, if he sits out, you're kind of screwed. Because chances are he'll be a first-round pick, and if you take him, this is right now, he's saying that it's trade or sign me, and it's one of those players where I'm assuming that he's going to play, but you need to make sure that he's going to play before you draft him. And if he's still in a situation where you don't know, wait until, I would say, like the 3rd round. Because, he's probably undraftable. Not that he's undraftable.
Well, you just don't want a Le'Veon Bell situation.
Yeah.
Which is unlikely, but it could happen. We've seen.
And it can kind of ruin your season if you draft him and he doesn't play. But right now, I'm saying that he is going to play. And if he does...
He good.
He's really good. He gets a ton of touchdowns.
He does. He is one of the most efficient goal line runners in the league, and he gets a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, they love giving him
He can
the ball
also
to him.
break them big ones.
Anything else you want to say about him?
No,
It's pretty. I mean, it's
he's
pretty
kind of
obvious.
like I would put the first four like kind of a step ahead of him.
Like in tier 1,
Yeah, tier 1 is first of the first
best of the best.
beginning of the first round. Melvin, you're kind of starting to look at maybe a wide receiver. He's probably at the second half of the first round.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go into my 6th, and I'm gonna say Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell is getting really disrespected. What? He's playing. He's not hurt or anything, right?
No.
I didn't think so.
But
What?
do you want to know what I have to say about Le'Veon Bell?
I want to hear what you have to say.
First things first. Le'Veon Bell is going from the Steelers to the Jets. Now,
So he's taking a step up.
no.
Okay.
The O-line on the Steelers is really good all the time.
Yeah.
The O-line on the Jets is not. It could be good. We don't know. But you're not depending on it like you are the Steelers.
No. Yeah, I understand that, but I think Le'Veon Bell. They paid him so much. He's one of those players that's going to sheer numbers. He's going to get a ton. Kind of like Christian McCaffrey. He can be the number 1 running back and the number 1 wide receiver. And 3 years ago, he was like the number 1 running back in the
Yeah,
league.
well, that's the other thing I was going to say. We haven't seen him play in a year.
No, you're right.
Which isn't not saying that he's going to come in out of shape or he's not going to be the same player, but you just don't know.
Yeah. I think Le'Veon Bell is one of those, if you can get him for a good value, you need to snatch him up. But you don't want to reach for Le'Veon Bell.
For sure.
Because, like Eli said, the Jets situation is way different than the Steelers situation. And kind of like what we said before with Melvin Gordon, Alvin Kamara, depending on Sam Darnold, if he can't get it going,
Well, the Jets as a whole, if they suck, then
they're going to stack the box and stop Le'Veon Bell. But if
they're
they
not even going to be
can't,
throwing the ball anyway.
yeah, if they can get it going and they can spread the field and he doesn't have to run against a stacked box and he kind of gets time behind the line of scrimmage to find the hole that he likes to do where he kind of like walks around.
Yeah, you
and
can't do that if you're just kidding.
Yeah, but if he can be a top 3 running back.
Yeah, they'll split him out wide a little bit. Well, they should.
I bet they will.
utilize
They
him.
have to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
NFL
saying.
surprises me all the
Just
time.
saying, Adam Gase. Never know with that guy.
Your 6th?
I got David Johnson. Did you already talk about him?
I have not talked about him.
Okay, well, David Johnson,
He's in a
he had a
weird
little bit
position.
of a disappointing year last year.
Yeah.
But he wasn't bad by any means. And I feel like this year he can only go up because his team was literally the worst in the NFL last year. So just based off of that, I feel like there's room for him to improve. And, the last time he had a good team around him, he was a freaking beast. He had like 2,000 total yards.
I do have to say, 2017, he missed most of the year because of an
Oh,
injury.
he missed like every game.
Yeah, but that was because of wrist, and that kind of sounds good because he's only had 2 full years. So it's kind of like he's going into his 3rd year right now.
Well, 4th year.
Well,
I guess his rookie year he didn't really play.
I think
till
he
the end of the
played,
year.
so he's going like 3.5
Yeah.
right now, even though
Not
he's
a lot of tread on
27.
the tires.
So he might be 27, but you shouldn't worry about that. Kind of like we've been saying, they put probably like 15 players in the box.
Oh yeah, because they were like,
They know.
who's Josh Rosen?
Exactly.
They even started Sam Bradford at the beginning of the season. See, I feel like the Cardinals are kind of going to be one of those teams. Their team might not be very good. They're not going to like probably make the playoffs, but they'll be able to like put some points up every now and then.
Yeah, I'm not
Like they might lose, but they might put up 30 points when they do it.
I'll say their offense is like 20 to 15, but that's better than like being 30th.
All right.
Well,
Who's next for you?
My next guy was David Johnson. We've already talked about him, so let's move on to your 7.
Joe Mixon. I really like Joe Mixon. He's a freaking beast.
He's really talented.
Yeah, in terms of just like players who play running back, he's up there. I feel like And last year he got a little bit of an opportunity, even though his team was not good at all. He was playing with a backup quarterback like half the year.
Who was it? Jeff Driscoll?
Yeah. But he led the AFC in rushing yards. And
The AFC. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he only got what? He didn't even get 250 carries. So This year, all you need is the sample size to go up and the production to at least stay the same, and he's good.
Well, if it makes... He averaged 5 yards a carry.
Exactly.
That is crazy. And you know what's even better? Guess what? His average reception, 6.9. What about their team? Their team didn't change much more.
No, but I like the Bengals if they're healthy. Now, Jonah Williams, their first-round pick, got hurt. Not a good sign. But
wasn't he the guard?
He's a tackle. Or I guess he could be guard, but whatever. Their O-line was like... Their whole team, basically, got injured last year. And so if they can just not do that, I like it.
Fair point. Just not do that.
For Big Joe.
My number 8 is Todd Gurley. Listen. What the heck is happening with Todd Gurley? Like, seriously. What are you, 70? Just walk it off. Get the steroid shot in your knee.
He tried it.
Oh.
And he was bad. Remember the Super Bowl?
No, I remember, like, what the heck's happening? You could be, like, Offensive Player of the Year. Okay, let's just be real about this. Todd Gurley can be Offensive Player of the Year. The Rams have a great offense, and he is the focal point of it. He's the main contributor, and if the Rams are good, he's good. But also, we kind of shown that if you put C.J. Anderson in there, it's good. So I don't know what's going to happen with. His upside is tremendous, but also his floor is really low.
Yeah, it's a huge risk. He's the only guy out of these 10
that I would be scared about drafting.
I almost until you have some kind of sign that Gurley's going to be playing and he's going to be like his old self, I probably wouldn't draft him, just being honest.
I would draft him for the right value, but also I think every league has that guy who's going to be like, Todd Gurley, heck yeah. And you got to wait for him. And if you can wait for him at, I don't know, what would you say a good position is? Like,
I would
4th or 5th?
Oh, I was going to say 3rd.
I would say 4th or 5th, maybe 3rd.
If he's there.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to be going.
I don't think he'll be there then. So don't plan on drafting him.
You said, the upside is great.
Yeah.
Because last year he had like 14 touchdowns in like 10 games.
I think Todd Gurley is one of those players that before the draft, you need to know, are you willing to draft Todd Gurley or not?
Yeah,
because you don't want to be sitting with your dong in your hand, just like, oh, frick, should I draft him or not in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round?
Yeah.
You need to know before going in,
and
what do you want to do?
Just like we talked about in our draft strategy video, if you're not comfortable drafting him, don't draft him. Because if you're going to sit there and worry about it the whole time, and you're going to, you need to commit one way or another.
You're going to overthink it.
Have faith in him, or just stay away.
Mm-hmm.
I got James Conner, Le'Veon's replacement at number 8. I think there's a certain stability the Steelers have, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Their O-line, their quarterback, and I guess they don't have AB anymore, so their receivers are changing up a little bit. But their coach and their culture is just reliable, and I think that's a good thing when you're a running back, because we've seen pretty much every running back they've had in the last 10 years, including D'Angelo Williams, Jalen Samuels last year, LeGarrette Blount. It doesn't really matter. If he just does what he did last year, then thumbs up.
My next guy.
Your number 8?
My number 8 is Joe Mixon. We've already talked about him.
Love Joe.
I don't think we need to say anything more.
Yeah.
Your next guy?
My number 9 is Todd Gurley.
Yeah. Talked about Todd Gurley.
We went off on him already.
All right. My number 10, Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette.
I have high expectations for him, but it just ranges a lot, and it kind of depends on Nick Foles and if he can stay healthy.
Yeah. Leonard Fournette scares me because of the Jaguars scare me.
Yeah.
And so I could see a world where he's pretty good if he gets involved in the passing game, but he's got to score touchdowns. That's a big deal for him.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars,
especially the player,
they can't be one of the worst offenses in the league again if you're going to expect something out of them. My last guy is Le'Veon, and we already talked about him, and I had James Conner higher than him. He's going to have to prove me wrong, all right? I will leave right now.